Hey everyone, it's Michael GoosebumpsFan. I hope you're doing well today. I ended up having to take a break for a little while. We went to dinner and we came back and all kinds of good stuff. We went to shopping at Target for a little bit. And now we are back home. We're going to start cleaning up a little bit. Get some mild cleaning done for the night. And then pretty much just relax for the night. I think I'll keep reading or something. I don't know what she wants to do. She wants to watch a movie. She's kind of sleepy. She might take a nap. Anyway, I recently read A Night in Terror Tower from the old classic 90s Goosebumps book series. And I know there's also a sequel. Of course, I gave the book a good rating. I really enjoyed the book. I just realized I'm chewing gum still. I don't have anywhere to... Oh, here's some tissue. Okay. Out of the way. Usually I don't chew gum because I don't want to be rude. I heard it's kind of rude to make videos with gum in your mouth. You know? Whatever. It's my channel. Anyway, I spit out gum in front of you guys. Making me improper. Anyway, I reviewed the book. I really liked the book. I reviewed the episode today as well, right before this book review. I really enjoyed that as well. Very good episode adaptation of that old book. Here is the sequel to the original book. It came from the Give Yourself Goosebumps series, which of course is kind of just a choose your own adventure book series for anybody who doesn't know that. And this is special edition number 2. Special editions are just kind of more rare nowadays. This one was a really good one. A lot of the special editions kind of worry me. Like there's the Trick or Trapped book. It's like one of the Halloween books of the special editions, and it's really hard to find a lot of the time. Very rare Goosebumps book to be an old 90s book. Very hard to get your hands on. Not as good as I wanted it to be. Some of these special editions have been very either kind of bland or just above average, just barely. Just that kind of thing. Some of them have been more disappointing than they've been good, but I haven't read all the special editions yet. But there's some really great ones out there, like the Pain House one. I forgot what it's called. It's like Night at Pain House. It was great. One of my favorite Goosebumps books ever, easily. If you can track that down, you should get it. Anyway, the sequel to Night in Terror Tower is Give Yourself Goosebumps Special Edition number 2, Return to Terror Tower. Of course, we have the Lord High Executioner here, just like on the first book's cover. I don't like this more cartoonish style. This is kind of one of the later styles that Give Yourself Goosebumps went to for art style. I don't think Tim Jacobus made these art covers, but I really don't like these art covers at all. This is one of the more bland ones. I don't like the border either to it. It's really ugly. Anyway, Return to Terror Tower. Is this any good? Yeah, it's really good. If you can get your hands on any special edition at all, so far this and Pain House would be the two that I'd highly recommend to you. This is a really good sequel to the first book. And the oddest thing, I can't really tell you a whole lot because if you haven't read the first book, and of course my channel's reviews are always spoiler free unless I tell you otherwise, I have to be very careful about what I tell you. So if you're looking for certain information, if you already read the first book or seen the TV episode, I don't want to tell you too much. I don't want to ruin it for you of that ending, because this book kind of picks up at the ending of that first book, just barely any time after. It is a direct sequel to the first book. Sue and Eddie are in this book. They're your friends. Of course, these books are written in a way where the main character doesn't have a name. You're playing the main character. These are game books where you'll get to the bottom of the page and it'll tell you to make a choice, whether you want to go to page such and such to do this or page such and such to do this. Tons of different endings. And it's a blast. I love Give Yourself Goosebumps. I love Choose Your Own Adventure books in general, and I have a blast when I read these for the most part. And it was a great time here. It had a little bit of fantasy thrown in there, kind of like the Night in Terror Tower book. That was fun. Has a little bit of just adventure type stuff. It's very adventurous. I would say that if you like the Give Yourself Goosebumps books that give you a lot of adventure, this is a really good one. You should really pick this up and read it sometime if you haven't. I don't know about this month. It's not really a fall, October type of book, but it's kind of cool, you know? Got a little medieval stuff going on there. If you like the more time travel-y type of Goosebumps books out there, this is one of those. I like it a lot. I think it's a pretty fun book overall. It kind of starts with, essentially, Sue and Eddie are your friends in modern day. And I won't tell you too much in case you haven't read that first book, like I said. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, because that first book is too good to spoil, frankly. You should really check that out if you haven't. Yeah, this book picks up directly. You're friends with Sue and Eddie now in present day, or at least in the 1990s present day. And they're telling you they need you to help them go back in time, to go do some stuff, to take care of some people that they know. And it ties, like I said, pretty much directly into the first book. And that's why I'm having a hard time really telling you the plot. It's pretty much a time travel book. It's fantasy-based, a little bit of magic in there, a little bit of dragon stuff in there, a little bit of stuff here and there, that I wondered if it was in the world of that first book. And it kind of was. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. One of my favorite endings in the whole book involves skeletons. I love that ending. If you've read this book, you know how good that skeleton moment is. It's really good, great classic Give Yourself Goosebumps book ending. And a lot of these endings can be pretty horrific, like kind of dark endings. You know, like you'll die brutally in some of them. One of them is really funny, involving a moonwalk. That's really great. Love that. It's mostly you trying to overthrow an evil king, right? It's really good as a sequel to A Night in Terror Tower. It's really good just as a give yourself goosebumps book, as a fantasy book. Anything you could possibly list this as, it's good in that area of what you want interest-wise. You can pretty much come into this in any way, whether it's kind of the horror aspect, if you're more looking for that, or more the humor aspect, which give yourself goosebumps books are pretty much very funny. I really dig how humorous they are. There's a lot of comedy in here, surprisingly. It's a very, very enjoyable book. I really, really dig it. I really recommend it. I can't tell you too much because I don't want to spoil the first book for you. There's a lot of fun stuff in this. I really had a good time reading this. It's been a while since I've had this much fun reading a Goosebumps book. Like I said, Night in Terror Tower, I literally just read like last week or the week before. Yeah, it's like the week before. Had a blast reading that. Really good book, really solid book, kind of nothing but chases all the time. And this book's kind of like that when you all go back in time and you're looking for Eddie and Sue, and you're chasing after them the whole time. The Terror Tower, of course, by the title and by the original book itself, that tower is in here, and that's really fun and adventurous. There's a lot of cool stuff in here. There's one involving a very famous historical character that I thought was pretty oddly changed compared to what we know him as. And it was good. I liked it a lot. I don't want to tell you too much. I know I'm being vague, dude. I don't mean to be so vague. I try not to be vague in my reviews. I like to give you enough to really pique your interest and make you want to pick this book up or go hunt it down. All I can tell you is on my recommendation, if you trust my book recommendations, or if you just love Goosebumps in general, you're a collector, whatever makes your boat float, you know, go get this. It's pretty solid. If you love A Night in Terror Tower, if it happens to be one of your favorite Goosebumps books of all time, or your absolute favorite, this is a good follow-up. This is a really good follow-up. I would argue, as much as I really enjoy the first book, and as much as I love the TV episode of that first book, I would argue I like this more than the first book in some ways, because I love Give Yourself Goosebumps. It's kind of the little area that gives me a little bit more bias towards it. I really like this a lot, though. I think it's very fun, very well put together, very well written. It's enjoyable. There's a whole lot of choices in here. Some choices that, like 5 or 6 choices on them sometimes. That's pretty odd. You don't really see a whole lot of Give Yourself Goosebumps books that do that many choices. Some of them like 4 and 5 at the most, but 6, that's a lot of choices, man. But I had a blast. I literally sat in my bed for like an hour last night just reading this on a Friday night, and it was great. I had a blast, dude. Anyway, Give Yourself Goosebumps Special Edition number 2, Return to Terror Tower. Is it worth reading? Absolutely. Is it worth trying to find some decent price? Yeah, absolutely. If you can find a good price of this on eBay or Amazon or something, it's kind of hard to find it because it's so out of print for so long. It's been over 20 years since it's been in print. It's a good one. I highly recommend it, again, especially if you're a Night at Terror Tower fan. If you're a fan of fantasy type stuff, this is a really good place to start. If you love game books, the Give Yourself Goosebumps books are fantastic too. I really dig these. This is a good place to start if you want a good place to start. If you could find this in like a yard sale thing, you better pick it up or you're crazy. Anyway, really enjoyed this. If I had to rate this book on a 5-star basis, I would easily give this a really high 4 out of 5 stars. I didn't love it, but I liked it a lot. It was a very solid, very enjoyable read that had a lot to offer. It made me realize how much I miss reading Give Yourself Goosebumps books. I didn't take any on my honeymoon. I kind of wish I had, even though I had some other stuff I wanted to read, like the one I promised you, which was Night in Terror Tower. And I was finishing up Say Cheese and Die Screaming, the 3rd of that series. It was part of the Horrorland series era, whatever. Had a whole lot to read at that time. I wish I had taken a Give Yourself Goosebumps book on my honeymoon, but that was like the last thing I cared about. I was in Pigeon Forge. I had all kinds of stuff to do out there. So this was a blast. Seriously, if you haven't read it before, check it out. Really worth the money, really worth the time to spend into it to read it. I'd really be surprised to see in the comments how many people have read this book and how much people either enjoy this or hate it. I know there's a couple people like Spongy that commented saying they enjoyed the book. I believe he said he enjoyed the book. I know he said that he was thankful I recommended it or mentioned it at all in my Night in Terror Tower book review. But I don't know if he read it. But anyway, if you guys have read it, please let me know down below what you think about it. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And are you going to plan on hunting it down now after how good this book was? I guess by my recommendation, that's a weird way of putting it, in a very cocky way. But yeah, good book. Really liked it. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Put them down below. Thank you guys, and may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you guys today. And goodbye.